What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be talking about a budget-oriented optic or red dot that I found and that I actually truly like. Nowadays, everything's about optics. That's all anyone wants on a pistol. Therefore, I've started even transitioning into that. How I learned was iron sights. I've always shot iron sights, so for me, it's been a harder transition over to dots, simply because I don't always see the need when I shoot irons just fine, point shooting, angled shooting, all sorts of stuff I shoot just fine without a dot. Dots are faster, dots are easier to acquire a target, but at the same time, problems can come with dots. For instance, I had an optic where the battery plate came loose and I lost that dot. And because of the dot sight, I couldn't go witness. So if you are relying on that dot, that can be an issue. But typically in self-defense, it's going to be 3 to 5 rounds within 25 feet. And it's going to be quick, fast. You're not going to be shooting 15, 20 rounds, reloaded mags. Typically, obviously, there's outliers in every single thing in life. But typically, you don't get fully extended either. Typically, you are not going to be even looking at your iron sights. And once again, typically, you're not going to be using your dot. But that's just most cases. Obviously, there's outliers, like I said. I have really been enjoying optics, though, for sure. There's nothing wrong with them. If that's how you want to run your handgun, I'm all for it. There's just certain situations where I don't think it makes the most sense. For instance, pocket carry. You know, I just did a review on the Bodyguard 2.0 and people got on it. They're like, oh, I can't believe they didn't make it optics ready. Well, it's like, it's a pocket pistol. Are you really going to have an optic in your pocket? You know how dirty your dot would get? You probably wouldn't even be able to see anything. So that doesn't make sense. Also, it would cause a hang up while drawing. Therefore, the smallest I'll really put a dot on, obviously, is a micro compact. And I still rarely ever do that. But in my opinion, having a dot on a micro compact actually really helps versus something like a full size or a compact. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to be showing off this new optic on a Hellcat. This is my favorite Micro 9. This is one of the greatest shooting Micro 9s I have. And in terms of being the greatest shooting, that doesn't mean it's the least snappy, because the Hellcat does have a little bit more snap than the other Micro 9s. But what I mean by that is, I can shoot this thing really well, really fast, and its accuracy is on point. The Hellcats, as well as every other Springfield Army gun that I've owned, has been amongst the most accurate. I don't know what it is, but Hellcat just has accurate handguns. If you're missing shots, that 100% means it's you. If this handgun is shooting low and left, that is you. If you are missing the target from 30 yards, that is you. That is not this handgun. I am learning the Hellcat, and I have been learning the Hellcat for years now, and if you get dialed in with it, this thing is a beast of a handgun. But that means putting the round through it, that means putting the time into it, and training. You also have to spend the money to get better. It just is what it is. But today we're talking about the Vortex Defender CCW. This is my first Vortex optic, and I'm really impressed. I have everything. I have high-end Hollisons, which are 400, 450. I have Sealy's, which are more budget-oriented, but they're great. I have, and I just picked up this Vortex. I have SIG optics. I have all sorts of stuff. But to be honest, this is probably my sweet spot. This is what I like price-wise. This is like what I like quality-wise. And it's honestly just my favorite dot. A lot of people said they wanted me to start going over more specs and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that. And we're simply just going to read off the box. I'm going to explain why I like this optic. What sets itself apart. The ease of use, the ease of finding which screws to use, all that stuff is just made really easy by this company. And another thing is, if you're wondering about this holster, you don't have to worry about the pattern. This is the taco pattern, so you see the tortilla, the meat, pico de gallo, tomatoes, guac. But this is from Blacksmith Tactical. Don't let the pattern fool you. Code SPN for 10% off at Blacksmith Tactical. You can get a holster like this. It's about function. Double discrete carry clips, a claw, a mid-sweat guard, and a wedge. It is the perfect everyday carry holster, in my opinion. It has everything you need. You can use it with gym shorts, sweatpants, bathing suits, snow pants. Literally anything you want, you can clip this to, and it'll work. That's why I like this. It is super, super versatile. As you can see right here, same exact setup on my XD, or XDS. Now, the Vortex Defender is a 3 MOA dot. Now, let's get down to it. Here's some of the statistics, right? Dot size, where it said it's 3 MOA, it's red, battery type is very common for red dots. You can find these all over. They are relatively cheap all over Amazon. Battery life. Now, at the highest setting is 9,500 hours. A lot of these companies don't advertise that. You'll see 50,000, 55,000, 45,000, but they don't explain if you're running it at full brightness, it's obviously going to be cut dramatically. So I like that they tell you the hours using the highest setting. I think that's smart. That way you're not expecting something, and then when you need your dot, it's out, even though you'll rarely ever be using a dot. Eye relief unlimited, magnification 1 times, so you can adjust it. The graduation 1 MOA at a time. Travel per rotation is 30 MOA. Max elevation adjustment 110 MOA. Max windage adjustment 105 MOA. Length 1.59 inches. Weight with the battery only 0.95 of an ounce. So not terrible. Does add a little bit of weight though, especially on a smaller handgun like this. Mounting footprint is for the Shield RMS. Now, what I like about this dot is a couple things. One, sometimes when you get a dot, the bags aren't labeled with the screws. They just throw you a bunch of random screws. A lot of them look very similar. Just thread counts a little different. There's just a little bit wider gaps, stuff like that. And they don't really tell you. These label it in every single bag, tells you exactly what model it's for. And it tells you what models this is available for. I like that. Because with the Holosun 47K and other Holosun optics, it can get confusing because there's firearms with, little posts and little mounts that you might need a plate for. I mean, it gets a little confusing. So I really like when a company will spell it all out for you and tell you exactly what it works for. On top of that, another thing that drew my eye to it was this little rugged front protector on the overall frame of this dot. I think it looks cool, but also that it's going to defend this dot if it does get dropped. This thing is made like absolute quality. It's thick, it's a beast, it's a tank. On the Hellcats, it does hang over just a little bit, but for me, that is not a big deal. I do not mind the overhang, especially on a handgun this small. And if you get a black Smith Tactical holster, obviously it's cut for an optic, and it fits perfectly. So I absolutely love it. On top of that, adjustment's really easy. Battery is not underneath the optic, so you do not have to remove the optic in order to change the battery. It actually is just right there. And dang it, I forgot the tool for filming this. Another part that makes it super easy, the tool they give you. Yes, every company gives you a tool. Holosun gives you a tool, Sealy, Trijicon, but this is the best tool I've ever used. It's actually for the battery cover, which, if you see, you can only see half of it right there, so you need something that can fit underneath that optics window, and that tool works for it. Also, the tool works perfectly, fits exactly where you need it to go in order to adjust. And I actually really like where the adjustment screws are. Makes it really dang easy while still being able to get that sight through for like about, you're co-witnessing about half with those regular irons. That is plenty for a self-defense encounter if you ever had to, God forbid. Now, in terms of changing it, here's turning it more bright. This is turning the brightness down. And what stinks about filming like this is you don't get to see the dot. I just use an iPhone for filming, therefore you just see that big round dot. It's not really that big. Honestly, it's about maybe a fifth of the size, maybe a seventh of the size. It is a super small dot. I'm trying to see if I can find something to show you, relative. Probably looks like that. Oh, right there, or that 0. Honestly, that's how small the dot is, and I really like that. Obviously, once you start turning brightness up a little bit, it gets a little bit bigger and drown it out. I like mine a little weaker, and that's exactly how I like it. Now, there's a bunch of different settings on here that I haven't really messed with yet, and it's just an awesome dot. Now, in terms of getting it sighted in, once again, the ease of sighting this thing in was flawless. It came basically spot on, but you just have to adjust it a little bit, and like I said, it's very easy. Wasn't confusing or anything. So this is a very beginner friendly dot, and it's only $250. At my local firearm store, this was $250. So online you can find them maybe $250 as well, or with free shipping. On eBay I found one for $220, brand new. eBay is a great spot to pick up stuff. People don't believe that. They think they're gonna get scammed. No, actual firearm companies have stores on eBay. Therefore, you are getting them just like you're buying it off their website. But on eBay, you can bid for stuff. You can make offers. There's all sorts of cool options out there for paying cheaper prices. So I did see this for $220, but obviously someone picked it up immediately. The ease of mount, you know, getting it sighted in, and how perfect the dot is on this is what makes it probably my favorite budget-oriented optic. This and the Sealy Cat X Pro are probably my favorite, as well as the Sealy Wolf X Pro. The Vortex Defender, in my opinion, is the best for concealed carry. And also, if this handgun gets taken away, it's $750. If I'm spending money on a Trijicon, that's going to be $700 alone, $600. This is a nice setup that'll get the job done. Capacity, texturing, optic, everything, reliability, but it won't break the bank if I ever had to use it or it's ever taken from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I absolutely love the Vortex Defender CCW. Thanks for watching.